This isn't the first TED Talk that I've ever given, and it certainly won't be the last. One thing that I love about TEDx is that it gives anyone a platform to share their unique ideas with the world, no matter who they are or where they come from. That's why I can speak before you today, because I had a unique idea, and it gives me the chance to possibly inspire or share my knowledge with the world. One thing that will remain consistent throughout my talks is my message, how I got to where I am today. Because while we often hear about great discoveries or amazing ideas, we don't often hear about how they got there, the small steps they took, the challenges, moments, and sparks that ignited their passion and purpose. So here's my story. Growing up in a traditional Indian household, I learned Hindi before English, my parents assuming that English would just be taught in schools, as it was for them in India. However, this assumption quickly proved to be wrong when my kindergarten teacher looked at me in confusion as I spoke to her in my language. Now, although I picked up a few phrases here and there to manage basic communication, my parents knew that more drastic measures had to be taken and saw poring over books as the most optimal strategy for me to catch up in terms of my literacy skills. The first book I ever read was National Geographic's Science Encyclopedia of Everything. Okay, well, maybe not the first book. The first book I ever read was The Very Hungry Caterpillar. But nevertheless, the Science Encyclopedia was one of the very first books I ever read, filled with colorful visuals and amazing facts that I loved sharing with family, friends, or really anyone that was around me. One section that really caught my eye was the space chapter. Learning about planets and stars was the most surreal experience I'd ever had, describing objects so immense in size and alien that they barely even seemed real. As I got older, this passion developed, refined, and manifested itself into a fascination with the realm of astrophysics, particularly in the fields of particle physics. To me, these fields represented the cutting edge of human knowledge, constantly pushing the boundaries of what we understand about the cosmos and our place within them. I came to this conclusion throughout various opportunities throughout my secondary school experience, including studying astrophysics at Johns Hopkins, exploring space observatories in Hawaii, and of course, my 6th grade science fair project, for which I built a model of the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, to me, this all seemed normal. I figured that in their early years, people went on experimenting with their life and used their collections of hobbies and passions to eventually choose their vocational aspirations for the rest of their life. However, this couldn't be further from the truth. In the summer of my junior year, I found out firsthand that only as little as 20% of youth worldwide actually get to make these kinds of decisions. I was on a trip to India, back home, visiting my family, when I was struck by a conversation I had with some of the boys on our street who had never even considered getting a post-secondary education. When I asked them why, they said that they had to go straight into the workforce in order to be able to financially support their families. Many would end up in whatever low-paying, hard labor jobs they could find, irrespective of what their actual hobbies and talents might be. And these weren't just any kids. These were bright, capable young people who had so much unrealized potential, but they wouldn't be able to fill it because of their unfair socioeconomic circumstances. This realization stuck with me, and when I returned home to Canada, I realized that this was a big issue here as well in Toronto, where nearly 50% of families struggle to financially support all of their kids' educational ambitions. Coming from a financially comfortable background myself, I never truly realized just how many opportunities I take for granted. The first step to achieving your dreams is to have a dream, and a lot of kids worldwide don't even have the financial circumstances to do so. So what did I do? I called up a friend of mine, and together we worked tirelessly over the remaining summer break that was left to found Spark Canada, a youth education nonprofit organization which has, to date, helped 5,000 people secure access to a quality education through initiatives like paying for school supplies for underprivileged kids, as well as funding after-school programs and more. Part of the reason that we were able to have such a significant impact in such a small time is through our partnership with the Education Bank, Canada's first educational charity. Through their staff and their legislative partnerships, as well as our funding, we were able to maximize the impact of our generous donors' contributions. I can proudly say today that we are partnered with enough municipalities across Canada to essentially cover the land area of the US state of Delaware. But beyond the work that we've done, Spark Canada is a testament to a bigger idea, that one idea, one initiative, one action can create a ripple effect that affects thousands. Imagine what we could do if everybody here contributed to that wave of change. If you have internet access, clean drinking water, and eat 3 meals a day, you are in the global minority. It is our responsibility to make the most of every opportunity that we get and help others do the same. Let's create a world where everyone has the freedom to dream. Thank you.